and welcome to my complete HTML, CSS and JavaScript course. In this course, I'll be teaching you everything you need to start building your own websites. So to start building your own websites, you need a text editor. So there are many text editors. You can use VS Code, Atom or Sublime Text. So you can choose any one, but you can choose any one. I'll be using Visual Studio Code. Now what you do is to start. How do you start with a website? So let's go by checking google.com. So what is here? There's first this text, which is an image. Then there's this input bar. Then there's the search by voice button, two buttons over here, some links, a text, Gmail images, this button, this a drop down kind of thing, even this is a drop down. So that's what it is. Okay, so now this is what. So let's talk about what everything does. This is an image which we can display. So all the colors and everything, like what I can say, the position over here, and this should be positioned over here, and this is done by CSS. All the writing work like these text is done by HTML. So HTML is the markup which makes a website. CSS is the styling language which styles the website, where everything is color and width and height. Then there's JavaScript. So if you click on this button, or if you click on this button, what will happen? So if you search something and press enter, what will happen? If you click on this, what will happen? So that's what JavaScript is. So that is what JavaScript is. So we'll start by creating an HTML file. So to start, let's create a new directory. So open up your command prompt, cd into your, I'm just going to cd into my YouTube folder. Okay, so I've cd'd into this. Now we are going to create a new directory called, I'm going to call this HTML, CSS, JavaScript, crash course. And we are going to cd into this, meaning change it directly into this folder. So from YouTube, another slash will come, and we're going to cd into this. So HTML, CSS, JavaScript, crash course. So let me just copy that and paste that in. That's what we're going to do, and this is going to create a new folder. So I've already done this. So if you click on enter, so I've already done this. So if you click enter, this should do the same thing for you. So I'm just going to delete everything. Now I'm just going to cd into the directory I created. Let me just list out the directories. Yes, website crash course, I created this. So I'm going to cd into that, CLS. Now I'm going to open this in VS Code, code period. So code meaning VS Code and the period meaning in this directory. So press enter and that should open VS Code for you. Now I'm just going to close my command prompt and make this full screen. So this is how it should start. I'm going to close this. So now let's create a new file which displays some text. So we are going to open this Explorer tab and create a new file. I'll call this home. Now if we type anything like hello, save that. How do we run this now? This should run, right? So what we'll do is we need to have a way to run this. Now what you can do is open up your terminal Windows File Explorer and double click on this home file and it should open this up. But we are not going to use that. We are going to install an extension for VS Code only called live server. So this is this extension. This lets you make live web pages. So it lets you live reload your websites. So that's what. So install that. Now, if you right click on this, you should get a button called Open with Live Server. We don't. Why don't we? We'll be making this file, but we're not telling the live server extension or the browser or VS Code that it's an HTML file. So what we have to type in is .htm. This will also work. HTML will also work. So home.html. Now, if you save this and right click, you get this option, Open with Live Server. You click on that. And now you see hello is displayed. What I'm going to do is just, yes. Now you see that hello is displayed. I'm going to now we actually can just make a web page like this, like hello, how are you? Sign in. And like that we can create some text. And if you save this and it should refresh, it gets that. Now why we can do that, but how do we create a button where if we type in button and save that and refresh, you just get the text button. So that's why we need to now tell that this document is an HTML document, because the computer just knows that it's an HTML file. It doesn't know that you're going to write HTML in that. So what you can do in VS Code is type in doc. Actually, let's write this from scratch. First, you need to, so all HTML tags start with a lesser than sign and then end with a greater than sign. So you're going to start with a lesser than sign. You're going to put an exclamation mark. Now then, I think doc type HTML is the only tag which has this exclamation point. This is just a special way of telling that this is an important tag. Now we are just going to type in HTML, which tells the computer that inside this HTML file we are going to write HTML. And we are just going to close this with a greater than sign. Save that. Refresh. Yes, you still have this white. Now what do we do? Well, let's press enter. Now we need to say that we are going to write some HTML. So we need a block where HTML is going to be. Now everything in HTML you can think of as a block. So this whole thing is a block. Inside that there are blocks. So yeah. So what I'm going to do now is create a block called HTML. Now what did this just do for me actually? If you actually type in HTML, let me type that again and press enter, this does this. So what does this? Just does the same thing without the exclamation point. I told you that exclamation point, the doc type is one of the only tags that have an exclamation point. Now how is this closing this? It's doing the same thing but with a slash at the end. Now there are two types of HTML tags. Self-closing tags in these tags, the closing tags. Self-closing tags would be something like this. HTML slash, which don't have a closing tag, but closing tags would be something like this. So that's what it is. So this is fine. Now inside this block, we are going to have a head tag. In this head, we are going to add some information which says that what type of document it is. So the meta tag, which we are just going to give charset, is equal to UTF-8. The meta tag is just a way of giving some information. Now as you see, this meta tag is self-closing. You can just do this. So that's it. And then we are going to have a title tag. Now this title flag is not self-closing. Now you see that there's an ending tag over here. So what does this title tag do? This title tags gives this document a title. So you see that 127.0.0.1 colon 5500 that slash home.html. That is the title for now. If I'm gonna change this and write my first website, save that, refresh this, and you get my first website right there. That's it for the head tag. Currently, we learn more things to type in the head tag. Now, we're gonna have the body tag. This is where all our content will go. Let's start with a heading. So, we can type in heading, save that. Heading comes here. So now that we have a body tag, everything will be live reloaded as soon as you save. But why is it not coming in a heading form? You need to tell HTML that this text is going to be an heading. So H1. There's also H2. So these tags are there all the way till H6. H2, H3. I'll show you the difference between them. H4, H5 and H6. That's what I'm going to do here. So every tag, the H1 tags needs to be closed because they are closing tags, not self-closing tags. Save that. Now you get nothing because we have not added any content, but let's see this. So I'm going to type in all heading. Save that and you get all these different types of headings. So now you might have guessed that H1 is the biggest and H6 is the smallest. So H1 is the most important heading and H2 is the second most, H3 third most, H4 fourth most, and it goes on like that. So that's what it does. Now let's talk about, so that's it for this video. If you like this, please be sure to like, subscribe and share my videos. Thank you.